Welcome to another episode of the Fresh Cred podcast. Today, we're diving deep into the world of produce with a true industry veteran, Joe Merenda. Joe shares his invaluable insights on supply chain dynamics, the challenges of maintaining freshness, and the evolving demands of consumers in today's market. Join us as we explore the intricacies of delivering high-quality produce from farm to table and gain a fresh perspective on the strategies that keep the produce industry thriving. Let's dive right in.
Joe Merenda, CEO and co-owner of Missionary Veg. How you doing, Joe?
I'm doing well.
Thanks for joining us.
Great to be here.
So, Joe, he's here in beautiful Monterey County, right?
That's correct.
And so has it always been home?
No, originally Chicago, Colorado, California.
No kidding. All right.
Colorado. We were just talking about Colorado.
Out of real estate going west. And I had to stop.
Yeah, you didn't have a choice, right? So Chicago. Grew up in the produce business in Chicago?
No, sir.
What'd you do in Chicago, or what was the?
Grew up in a family of crazy Italian people.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's a funny story about getting into this business is when I was looking at colleges, I got accepted to the University of Illinois, but I only got accepted in the agribusiness school. And I said, what would I ever do with an ag business degree?
Seriously?
I swear to God.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I went and signed up to be an art major at Northern Illinois University. And then they told me I had no talent in that, so I switched majors again. So
okay, that's all. You already tipped my bucket over. Hell, we may not talk any produce at all on those damn shows. So art major.
Yes, sir.
Did you pick that because you thought it'd be easy, or are you actually in the art business?
No, someone told me I was pretty good. So I believed them, and then I got through 2 years of it, and they're like, there might be room over in the business school for you, son.
You should go to produce.
You're not very good at this.
This industry doesn't require any talent. Go to this one. Awesome. So you're a big art guy.
I am.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
I think we've talked, but my wife's an artist and quite accomplished in that space.
That's the Santa Fe connection.
That is the absolute
down there.
Yes, yeah, certainly that is why that's a place that we frequent on the regular. But my entire family, not including myself, but my kids, my son, everybody, they all have super great, just different talents, art skills and creative stuff and whatever. But yeah, for me, my whole college career, I literally, after 6 years, 3 universities, I finally went to the counselor. I said, look, here's what I have. I need the easiest or the degree to get me the hell out of here. With all I've got, which one can I get out of here with? And that's how I got a marketing degree.
Well, I went through the exact same process after they kicked me out of the art school.
Yeah.
And I went through everything. And I'm like, radio, television, and film. So that's what I got a degree in, radio, television.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
Good God. But this is perfect for you. You're going to be like,
right at home.
This is right at home for you, man. Now, have you done podcasts before?
I have not.
No?
No. I don't. I'm busy.
You listen to any?
Though. I think, I do. I love them. Yeah.
No.
Do you have a favorite?
I've actually been thinking we need more of this in our industry because we have a lot of fun stuff to talk about, a lot of fun people to talk to.
That's a fact. And that's what we found out. We didn't know it at the time. I mean, it was supposed to be, the whole show started with me and Ed just going to yuck it up. And apparently nobody wanted to hear us, yucking it up. So we had to bring in some more.
We found it very entertaining.
I was going to say, how many did you get through? 3?
No, we did a bunch just
us talking.
For like a year.
But eventually we had to bring in some other people because, we doing it for 12 people was not really that great. And none of those people were our family. I don't think my wife's ever listened to any of the podcasts. Actually, I take that back. She listened to a couple. Callie, anything?
She's devout listener.
I don't believe that for shit.
You shouldn't.
But anyway, Joe, so out of college, you said from there to Colorado?
There to Colorado, went there to ski.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Then I met my wife, and we moved down to Denver. I went and worked for Coca-Cola for a couple years. And a good family friend was, you might remember Sid Verdorn. He was the CEO of C.H. Robinson.
Yeah, I remember the name. Yeah. Now that you say that.
One of my original mentors. He just came to me one day and said, hey, you seem to work a lot at Coca-Cola. And I was like, how many hours a week you working? I'm like, I don't know, 75, 80.
That's normal, right?
He's like, you should come over and work with us and work like 70 hours.
Yeah.
That'd be really successful. And literally, I walked into the office in Denver there, and I fell in love. Literally, I walked in, and the energy and the juice, and that's when, it was like 1994-ish.
Okay.
Things were pretty fun. There was a lot of stuff going on, and I just kind of fell in love with it.
Yeah, I came in the business in '92, Chiquita, and so I'm very familiar with the time. Different time. Shit tons changed.
Big time.
Yeah. So transportation then. So you came into the business.
I came in on the produce side.
Okay, so you were with their fresh division.
Yeah, I was with the fresh division, and then they moved me out to California to open up their Fresh One marketing division when they wanted to become more of a grower shipper.
Yeah.
Did that for several years, and then I came over and with my buddy Tom Minnick, who's another one of my mentors and my business partner, and we started. He had started Food Source at that time, and we did the Food Source thing. And then C.H. Robinson bought us, and then we did that for another 5 or 6 years, and then we started this Harbinger Group thing, which ended up buying Merchant Missionero, and now we've been with Missionero. We've had Missionero for about 8 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is awesome. So, at Missionero,
yes, sir.
Right. So for the business, as at this conference we're here, it's obviously food service, but we've been talking to a couple of different folks, and just curious. I mentioned 92, 94. The world of the industry's changed, right? So, but I guess more relevant for you as in the veg space, and what all do you guys do?
We are grower shipper processor. We do all the organic leafy blends. We do romaine, green leaf, all the washed and trimmed lettuces, all that. Those kind of
right.
That's our wheelhouse.
Okay. Now, any specialties? Do you guys get into any like the micro herbs or anything like that?
No, we stay away from that. We're pretty mainstream when it comes to the organic blends at retail and food service, and the same thing on the wash and trim. It's we kind of stay away from the micros. It's hard to. You got to really be focused on doing that stuff.
Yeah. So, and you only grow here in California? You guys have operations or at least partners that you work with?
We have partners in Nevada and Oregon that grow organic. The organic stuff we have to kind of sprinkle all over the place to kind of have a diversified growing base.
Yep.
Got to stay away from bugs. Got to stay away from temperature, humidity, all kinds of things. So you diversify your land base pretty good on the organic side. But on the lettuces, it's Yuma in here.
Yeah. So what kind of changes? 8 years. Has there been much change in 8 years?
Not a lot of changes to the prices we get paid, but
I can damn sure relate to that. I know exactly what you're talking about there.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things have changed. I mean, the customer base is consolidated. A lot of the supply base is consolidated, and I think that's not over yet. I think the supply side that we're on has not consolidated probably fast enough for the retail consolidation that's happened on the other side, or even just the growth of the big customers between food service distributors and the Sysco's and the U.S. Foods and these guys. Everyone's gotten so big, and everyone's buying up everybody right now. And the same thing's happening on the retail side. The Walmarts are huge. The Costco's are huge. Everyone's gotten
bigger,
supersized, and so you've got to be really efficient. So I think the biggest change is you could make mistakes before and you'd be okay. Right now, you got very little margin for error, whether it's your plantings, whether it's Mother Nature, whether it's your labor. Everything's got to be right there to be effective, because the margin change shifts on you very quickly. So that cushion that we used to have as an industry, I think, is kind of gone.
Yeah.
So you just have to be good. You have to get efficient, and that's why I think there's going to be a lot more consolidation, because that's really, you got to spread those costs over more packages.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And, I guess when I say changes, what about on the consumer side and what the products you're offering? In other words,
I was going to say product development, like convenience, value added. I mean, it's just blown up.
Well, everything that we used to ship in a commodity now, we do, I'm trying to think, and it's not over 8 years. This is probably over the last 15 years.
Okay.
We've probably gone from 80% commodity on the lettuces to we do almost none now. Almost everything we do is value.
Really?
Almost everything we do has some value added to it. No one on the food service side wants to handle a box of lettuce. They got to pay for that labor to cut it up. Then they got to throw it in the trash. You're putting $3 worth of freight on that stuff, and you're shipping it across the country, and it's going into a dumpster. You know what I mean? So it's been good for us because we're really good at doing those single cut whole head lettuces that our customers love, and it just continues to expand and grow, and it's been a good spot to be in. The problem is you still have commodity that you need to sell, and we really don't do that much anymore. So we have to create little outlets for excess product. We're almost better off in a short market than we are in a long market.
So what is it? I'm curious. That's interesting. So you don't typically. So when you look for niche to push those items off into, like, what would that be?
Like we typically want to do something that's going to scrape a lot of acres quickly. So we'll just do mini bin contracts or bin contracts for regional processors and just say, hey,
okay,
I need to clean up 6 acres and go throw it in a bin and sell it to a regional processor somewhere that's going to go chop it or do whatever they do with it. It's just easier than trying to set up something with a retailer or a food service house that, okay, I have lettuce for the next 3 weeks that I need to sell. They're like, yeah, one of the big changes I would say in the industry is the flexibility to promote and move a lot of product when you need to.
Yeah.
It's just rare now. People promote when they want to. They promote based on what they did last year, and those time periods in between, it's almost like it's too much work to go out and try and have their whole sales force go out and hit every restaurant in town to sell an extra couple loads of lettuce. They're like, it's just not worth it.
Yeah.
It's just not worth the energy anymore. Whereas that was what the whole industry was built on, was when we're long, you promote. When we're short, you raise prices and shrink demand. Now everyone's, no, we need 52 weeks a year, same price. And you can't really get that same flow.
Well, the industry overall, right? So, and we have buckets. Our big bucket is still, we're kind of the late adopters. I say late adopters. It hasn't been developed yet. It's coming, and we're going to move more towards what you guys are. I mean, so I originally, while I was in college and coming out of college, I was on the CPG side of the business. I mean, I was, in the food piece of it, and so I can see in the industry, you guys are the forerunners of it. That cut leaf is really the forerunner to what the rest of the world's going to come. Because I know when leaf came in and they were putting the salads out, nobody's going to buy that. They all want to touch and feel it. They got to experience. They want to take it home, cut it fresh. No. Nope. And the world is getting more and more. Send it to me, ready to go, ready to prepare. We talked to a chef earlier today at Hannaford, and she talked about, people coming in and now they don't just want it and let us prepared that they got to go home and do something. They want the whole dude fixed, and you just roll up and go eat kind of a program. But what I was going to say on the CPG side, like I say, we're still in a lot of the bulk sales, but the farm, that piece, is still what it always was.
Hasn't changed.
Some days it will produce 20% more, and some days it will produce 20% less. And it's not a manufactured good, and its predictability is better, way better than when I got started in this business, for sure. But still, that's kind of a missing dynamic that we have, not being able to promote. When you have an abundance, not being able to push it out.
It is. It's tricky, and I think there's probably room for that flexible retailer or food service or wholesaler out there that has the flexibility to do that. That there is a big opportunity for that person to develop that in the marketplace, because there's very little of that still happening out there. So I would say, on the wholesale, retail, food service side, people figuring out what to do with excess product would be very helpful to the industry. It would drive down prices, actually, because we'd have better utilization.
Yeah.
Because we grow a lot better than we used to. I mean, yields are great compared to what they used to be. So you get more with less, but when everyone's overplanted, I mean, it doesn't take much.
Yeah.
5% sends this thing into a tizzy.
Because at the size you're doing. I mean, right. I said 20%, but yeah, 5%. Yeah.
in our space, it'll send things crazy.
Yeah. The consumer, though.
Yes.
Okay, you've got two different types. Mm-hmm. You've got the restaurant consumer, and you've got the eat at home or what they're going to have in the refrigerator. And you guys, with what you offer, what is the top item that you've got, and is it different for those two types of consumption?
Well, I think the biggest change is, and I can't remember which retailer told me this, I think they said that 55% of all of their value-added sales right now contain a component kit. So kits at retail have really evolved into a huge part of the set. Okay. And if you say does retail lead food service or does food service lead retail? You're talking about convenience.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Well, like you said, at Hannaford, they don't just want something cut up for them. They want all the ingredients. They want to take it home. They want to eat it. At retail, that is what's happening. We don't just put romaine in a bag anymore. It's romaine, and it's a bunch of other ingredients, and there's salad dressing, and there's croutons, and there's some protein, or there's some other. That is what the consumer is picking, that because it's just easy. It's 5 minutes of prep, and they're done. At food service, I think there's a different challenge because they've got labor issues everywhere. Like California, they just raised minimum wage on fast food restaurants to $20. So they don't want to prep anything. But at this point, we haven't started developing like that full-blown kit for food service, but I think that's where I think this is going to go, where that restaurant chain is going to put together the recipe, and they're going to say, here's all my ingredients, here's all my suppliers, give me a box.
Send me the components.
Send me everything I need to put it together so that I can just have someone in the back room just put the whole thing together, make those salads, have 1 day's worth, and just be done.
And in essence, that labor could then be less skilled.
Exactly.
Well, or it could be, in which I was going to get to, and that what you just said was one of the questions that I had, is where are things potentially going, and that was ideal into that. But yeah, I mean, potentially, maybe there's no human at all putting that component together.
It's possible,
right?
I think there's probably some tech that needs to be done to really start putting things together on our end that are literally break open a bag and everything's in there. Like, our stuff doesn't live together that well with other things. So, each ingredient has a different life, and each ingredient has a different bag that protects it from that life. So trying to get lots of stuff in one bag so that someone could just break it open, or that a AI robot could just bust open and throw into a tray. It's going to take some time to get that part of it done, but I mean, I've seen all kinds of stuff now with robotics in the back of restaurants that people are experimenting with, where you punch in what ingredients you want on there, and it just goes down the line and just drops. And
hey man, I saw a deal, and literally I looked into possibly investing in doing one of these. So it's like a standalone. It's kind of like a container, like a shipping container set out, and people go up and you punch in your pizza order, and inside the container is all the machinery. Makes the pizza, sticks it in the oven. You go to the other end, pizza comes out. And I'm thinking, freaking genius, right?
Yeah.
And, pizza in terms of input cost versus what you sell it for actually is pretty cheap. I mean, I know that they complain about when dairy prices are up and things like that, but at the end of the day, if you know any of the metrics behind pizza making, Domino's does a $10 pizza that's costing them probably about $2. Yeah. I don't know. It's probably not that, but it's pretty cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty good margin business. But yeah, if you can imagine, all of a sudden now you don't have any employees, and then you've got a robot car that rolls up.
It's crazy.
Picks it up.
Yeah, you ordered it on your phone from your home.
Yeah, 100%.
An autonomous car went and picked it up. A robot put it together. I don't know. I guess we're gonna have a lot of time.
More golf.
Yeah, exactly.
How I was gonna ask you about. So I read somewhere, and it's been a while now, but in Texas, I don't think any municipality, or definitely not the state, hasn't instituted like organic waste disposal. I think in California it's pretty, they're digesters, or there's different ways that you can dispose. I mean in processing you have some drop off, right?
Yeah, in our processing, everything goes into, everything is segregated out by if it's something that can go to feed somewhere, or if it's something that can go to fertilize somewhere. Everything is segregated into different groupings. So like, we did a project about 3 years ago where it wasn't a fun project, but it was a project.
It was a project.
We had 50 people from our plant, and we had to take all of our waste for one day in the plant, and they took it out to the dump, and they had everyone in all those 50 people sorted our trash for the day to where it actually ends up in the waste chain. So
now, was this one? So you did this project. What's the basis of the project?
the basis of the project was we were working on getting certified for the sustainability project that we were working on.
Uh-huh.
Part of it was, how do you manage your waste?
Gotcha.
So the whole concept was, go through your waste for the day, recyclable stuff that you threw in the trash, put over here. Stuff that can go to landfill goes over here, this goes over here, and literally had us go through, and there's a lot of waste in one day.
Oh, I can imagine,
It's
yeah.
disgusting. But, everyone got their boots on and got their white suits on and went out to the dump and sorted through it, and it kind of taught everybody that, there's a reason why there's color coding in the facility, there's a reason why things go here, there, and now we did it a year later, it took like 10 minutes.
No kidding.
Whereas the year before, it was 3 hours of people trudging through a
Wow.
mess. Got there the next year and was like, oh, nope, that's over there. Okay, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So you would say that it was effective?
Well, it's not only effective, but it saves you money. Because when you send it to the dump like that, it costs more than if you send it to where it's supposed to go in the waste stream.
Pre-sorted.
Yeah, that's interesting. Something that I might want to talk to you a little bit further about offline on that, because that's, like I say, with all the waste streams and trying to work towards sustainability. I mean, that was what I was hearing you say when you talked about everybody, 50 people, you got to go do it. Nothing like training with hands-on.
And there's nothing like watching me go through the trash. I think it had an impact.
Yeah, no, absolutely, for sure. So, no, I love that. Well, look, they waved the white flag pretty early on this podcast. I don't think we have real 30 minutes here. I mean, they've
Time flies. As
time flies super fast. And I'm hoping we can get back on and get deeper into some subjects, but really want to thank you for coming in. I mean, great story. Like I say, learn a little about you. The whole idea behind this is, leaders in the industry, right? Guys like yourself. There's a lot of people that don't know Joe, won't ever meet Joe, right? And so this is where they come to get a chance to meet you. People that are doing business with your company, would like to know. So your trajectory through, that's interesting for a lot of people, because, like you and myself, we didn't really have a plan coming out of college, and I can tell you, with my son and his friends, that still exists. A lot of people don't have a plan coming out, but, if you work at it and work hard.
It's still one of the beautiful things about our industry.
Yeah.
Is we are a big tent, and you got people from all walks of life coming through. You got MBAs over here. You've got guys that work their way through the field. I mean, we've got a woman that started picking lettuce at our company when she was 14 years old.
Wow.
And she runs our growing accounting department.
Amazing.
42 years.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You know what I mean? And that still exists, and that opportunity still exists, and that's what's it's a beautiful part about our industry.
Well, Ed was a Gilroy cattle hauler, and he got into this.
I think what there isn't as much of is the willingness to work, people's willingness to work their way up, right? I think it's a little more
Looking for more of a
instant
rocket ship
gratification.
program.
There
Yeah.
is not instant gratification in our
No.
industry.
Yeah, so-
that is for sure.
Just a disclaimer.
There's the grind is real.
It is real.
Yeah. So, but no, thank you very much. The time has been great.
Nah,
I mean,
thanks for having me.
you know.
What a fun format. That's
yeah.
Thank you.
Maybe what we set up until we come out there, we do something live from the farm.
That'd be great.
That's always fun to do, and love
Yes,
to
you're
come to your
welcome.
place. And
Field trip. I'm hearing field trip.
Yeah. I'll bring the wine.
I love that. All right, guys.
All right, Joe. Thank you very much.
Appreciate
Enjoy yourself here at the show, and we look forward to seeing you again.
All right.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the show. And, guys, we're out.
Thank you for tuning in to this insightful episode of the Fresh Cred podcast with Joe Merenda. We hope you've gained a deeper understanding of the complexities and innovations within the produce industry. A special thanks to our partners, Kern Ridge Growers, Wiggins Farms, Sunfed, and IFCO for their continued support and commitment to promoting excellence in fresh produce. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more episodes. For exclusive content and updates, visit our website at thefreshcred.com. See you next time, and keep it fresh.